with the promise of spring in the air so sweet, and the thawing ground beneath our feet, we embrace the changes that life may bring. As we celebrate Imbolc, let our hearts sing. In the hush of the falling earth, as winter's grip begins to unfurl, we gather round the hearth's warm glow to honour Imbolc's gentle flow. By candles light, in the quiet of night, in the heart of winter's deepest might, we invoke the spirit of awakening, as Imbolc's magic is in the making. By the snowdrop's bloom and the lamb's first cry, in the whisper of wings as birds take to the sky, we celebrate the stirring of life's rebirth as we welcome Imbolc upon the earth. In the season of hope, in this sacred space, we honour the goddess, her gentle grace. Brigid, the flame, the forge, the well, in her presence our spirits swell. With the promise of spring in the air so sweet, and the thawing ground beneath our feet, we embrace the changes that life may bring. As we celebrate Imbolc, let our hearts sing. So ancient ones, we call to thee. In the name of Imbolc, blessed be, as we honour the turning of the wheel. May your presence and blessings we keenly feel. In this moment of Imbolc's embrace, may your spirits awaken and find their place. With gratitude and love, our voices rise. Blessed Imbolc, dear goddess, under your skies. That's an Imbolc blessing that I actually wrote, and it's available. I'll put the link below. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Claire Attio. Welcome to Oaklaw Door. Today's Imbolc. A beautiful, beautiful day, the start of the midpoint between winter moving into spring. And it's a lovely time that those winter's energies allow us to be deeply reflective, to review the year that has passed, to heal, nurture, recuperate, regenerate, rejuvenate our energies, ready for what we want to plant now, what we want to create in this coming year. And one of the things that I like to do when I'm running a workshop for Imbolc is I like to bring in the physical aspect of planting seeds. This is what we're doing on an energetic, mental level with Imbolc, is we sit and we reflect. It's what we're encouraged to do anyway, is we sit and we reflect and we start to plan what we're wanting to create, and we start to plant those seeds. So what are my dreams? What are my hopes? What are my desires? And how can I make them, bring them, create them in my life so that they bring me joy, they bring me peace, they bring me happiness, but they are also of service to humanity and or the planet. It's that reciprocal energies We receive something and then we let it go. We allow it to expand, to flourish, to grow, so that it touches the lives, not just my life, but the lives of those around me, the lives of those in my community. Now, today is Saint Brigid Day. Now, Brigid is, for me, a triple goddess. She embodies both fire and water, and that is a big theme that I'm still uncovering and discovering in my own spiritual essence of who I am as a soul being. And there's much more to unfold from that. There's much more for me to learn and to grow and to step into. Saint Brigid, she was taken over. She is very well known and celebrated in Ireland, in the Celtic world of Ireland. Her essence, the essence of her being a goddess, a Celtic goddess. And I'm sure if we look globally, there is another goddess under another name from another culture that embodies the same energies and works in the same way. Her energy, her essence was so deeply anchored within the people and on the planet that when the Catholic Church was trying to reorganize everything and subscribe and delete the things that didn't serve that institution, they kind of, like some of the others, came up against a brick wall, as it were, with Brigid, because her essence was anchored so deeply within the people, the DNA of the people and on the planet. And so they turned her into a saint. So she's well known now as Saint Brigid. But she showed herself to me first last year. And that is why I'm still learning. I'm still trying to understand the connection between us. But she showed herself to me last year, just before Imbolc. In fact, if I go back, she probably showed herself to me the previous year when I was doing my firewalking instructors training. Anybody who follows the channel will know that I have and still am grappling with the deeper understanding of the lessons that were brought to me between the fire and the water. It's balancing out those very powerful elements within me, that fire and water, the passion and the compassion. It's definitely a balancing act, but there is a lot more there still to be uncovered. And I encourage each and every one of you to review, just to take the time today and over the coming weeks to review how your passions and your compassions are balancing. How are you balancing those? Are you balancing them? Are they balanced? It's about that drive for what we desire within our lives, whilst not stepping into the ego in which to attain it, whilst staying anchored in that compassion and being of service. And we do live, the 3D world is one that promotes egoism. Well, if you want this, you need to be doing this, and you need to go and get that, and you need to have this, and you need to have that, and this is where our discernment, this is where our spirituality comes in. This is our discernment, where we kind of go, well, okay, those are the normal paths that humanity, man, has taken to attain their desires. but does that resonate with me? Is that my path? Is that the path that my higher calling is saying to take? Now, in some instances, it will be. There will be some actions within those egoic programs that you need to take. The difference being is you've had the introspection and you've had the discernment to say, well, I do need to take that action, but it's not coming from a place of ego. It's coming from a place of that is a logical step in which I can create my dreams. I can bring my dreams into fruition, but more importantly, those dreams will be of service to humanity and or the planet. Having that discernment, it's aligning and looking inwards and knowing what you want and desiring it unapologetically, but also stepping back and going, okay, how can I do that in a nurturing, in a compassionate way that doesn't step on other people, that doesn't create harm or disharmony in the world or in my life? How can I do that? And it can take longer. It inevitably the startup is longer because you're negotiating these energies, and also usually you're negotiating your own journey. As I said, the lessons of Brigid are still coming to me. My connection with her is still developing. I don't know what that pathway looks like at the moment. It's something that we're growing together. And I don't know if it's something that is to be put out into the world or whether that is going to be a personal aspect of my spirituality. I don't know that yet. I just know there is a relationship developing, and it's my responsibility to nurture that, to take the time to meditate and to gain the understanding and to journal the bits and pieces that come through, so that over time I can start to put those pieces of the puzzle together. If anybody follows me, you'll know I'm always talking about pieces of the puzzle. And you can, very often on the spiritual journey, you will have 100 different puzzles on the go. And it's my belief, like continents of the planet, those puzzles will eventually all come together and they make a totality. So each puzzle represents a continent, and then obviously later on you will be able to see the whole as it all fits together synchronistically. Imbolc, as I said, is that halfway point through the winter towards spring. We're halfway through spring. It's a time for celebration. In olden times, it was a special celebration, a special fiesta to go, yes, we made it, we survived the biggest part of the winter. And that hope that for the warmer weather, we're halfway through, we're halfway there. A lot of people light a candle. It's a tradition to light a candle and put it into the window to welcome Brigid into their home and into their hearts. It's a beautiful, beautiful tradition. It brings the light in on our dark evenings, although they are starting to get lighter, and that is magical. And I would actually implore anybody who lives in the Northern Hemisphere to just kind of get up a little bit earlier and see that sunrise. This morning was absolutely magical. It was a beautiful pinky hues entwined with the clouds that existed. And once the sun rose, it was a typical British grey day. And I wouldn't have seen that colour and that magic had I not gotten up early to see the sunrise. I would have missed out on that. The natural world shows us so much if we take the time to look, if we take the time to listen, if we take the time in stillness and in just being and not be in that mental head. I've the last couple of days, there's been some personal things going on in my life, and I've had to, on a few occasions, bring myself out of that mental chaos that we can create. I was kind of running through, I found myself running through the situation and the different scenarios, and basically it's just like that swords energy, and this is what we do to ourselves. It's our responsibility to hold ourselves accountable and go, stop it. We cannot change that situation. I cannot manipulate how that situation will, how that situation, I could, but I don't intend to. It's not, that's not part of my remit. The situation will unfold as it's supposed to unfold, and I just need to step away from the situation and just allow it to unfold and then deal with it, instead of focusing energy and allowing precious, beautiful energy and time to keep me stuck in the head. I've had to take the responsibility to remind myself, breathe. That's swords energy. Step away from it. Step away from it. And each and every one of us has that same responsibility to ourselves for our spiritual growth, for our spiritual development, so that we can bring joy, peace, happiness, harmony into our lives. And when we do that, we raise our vibrations. When we're in the mental head, when we're going over scenarios, when we're creating all these, what I call sword situations, we're not in those higher vibrations. We're not anchoring as much light onto the planet as we possibly could. And so it's our responsibility. Is it a natural thing to do when we have situations? Just because we're on a spiritual journey doesn't mean that all our problems go away. The problems are there. The responsibility and the whole point of the journey is learning techniques in which we don't go down that tunnel of being in the problem, and we use the techniques to pull ourselves from that energy. Acknowledge it by all means, absolutely. It's there. It needs dealing with when it's kind of reached its climax. But there's no point me worrying about it and working out all these scenarios of how I'm going to deal with it before it's even reached its climax. It has to come to its natural end so that I can then make a decision. This habit, this human, very, very human habit that we have of trying to preempt is actually taking us away from our joys, taking us away from our harmonies, taking us away from creating peace, being in those higher vibrations and anchoring the beautiful divine light that is attainable to us on this planet. It's learning about just being in that flow. What will be, will be. Que sera, sera. We've had all these phrases. Let's just use them. Let's embrace them. And so this Imbolc, I ask you all just to take a moment and think about what dreams, hope, desires are you wanting to plant. One of the things one of the things I like to do is I like to physically plant seeds, and I start to nurture them. I have them indoors. I put them in my windowsill. I physically plant the seeds, and I put little labels. I did it last year, and if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see the little post that I put out last year, because I actually did a workshop and I did it with a group as well. So my dreams. So I did me, myself, my family, and my community, and I potted up those. And so when I was physically potting them, I was infusing them with my dreams, my hopes, my desires for myself, for my family, for my community. And then I nurtured them. I nurtured those little seedlings until those seeds turned into seedlings, and then it got warm enough, and then I was able to plant them and add them to my garden. This is what we're doing. It's symbolic. And it is very nice to physically take an activity and to grow. It's a beautiful visual reminder of what you're growing, where your focus needs to be. Because every time I watered those seedlings, I brought into my mind the intentions. And so my focus went to the intentions that those seeds were originally planted with. It's a beautiful way of keeping you focused, of bringing your dreams into fruition, into reality. And so I hope this video has helped. I will leave the link for the book. Beautiful book. It's got lots of, for each, at the end of every season, there are some introspective questions there to help, and there's space there for you to write down. It also gives you a little bit of info on each of the seasons as we go around the wheel of the year. So I'll leave that link in the description box below. If you've liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you've not yet done so, subscribe and share with your friends if you feel inclined. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.